What's up, fight fans? Duke here, and let me tell you something. We are witnessing boxing history in real time.
Today is September 13th, 2025, and in just a few hours at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, we're about to see something that might never happen again in our lifetime.
Terence "Bud" Crawford, the undefeated pound-for-pound king, is attempting something absolutely insane, jumping 2 full weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship. This isn't just a fight, folks. This is a moment that will define legacies, rewrite boxing history, and answer the question that's been burning in every fight fan's mind. Can Canelo stop Crawford's historic rise? Crawford's journey to this moment reads like something out of a boxing fairy tale, except this fairy tale involves some of the most brutal and technical displays of boxing artistry we've ever seen. This 38-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska has achieved something that boxing purists thought was impossible in the modern era. He became undisputed champion at both 140 and 147 pounds, cleaning out entire divisions with surgical precision.
His destruction of Errol Spence Jr. in July 2023 wasn't just a victory, it was a masterclass that left the boxing world speechless.
9 rounds of pure domination, turning one of welterweight's most feared punchers into a broken fighter who couldn't find answers to Crawford's switch-hitting wizardry. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Crawford isn't content with just being great at 2 weight classes. He wants to become the first male boxer in the 4-belt era to hold undisputed titles in 3 different divisions. That's not just ambitious, that's borderline delusional according to most experts. Moving up from 147 to 168 pounds means Crawford is giving up 21 pounds of natural size to a fighter who has been terrorizing super middleweights for years. The financial stakes alone are staggering. We're looking at a combined purse exceeding $150 million, with Netflix reportedly paying over $250 million for broadcasting rights, making this one of the most expensive boxing events in streaming history. The technical challenges Crawford faces are mind-bending. At welterweight, he relied on speed, timing, and his ability to make opponents miss while landing picture-perfect counters. But at 168 pounds, facing a fighter like Canelo who has felt the power of Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight and barely flinched, Crawford's entire game plan has to evolve. His team, led by trainer Bomac McIntyre, has been working overtime to adapt Crawford's style while maintaining the attributes that made him special. The sparring reports from Vegas suggest Crawford has been working extensively with bigger, stronger fighters, trying to simulate the kind of pressure and power that Canelo brings to every fight. Drop "historic" in the comments if you think Crawford can actually pull off this impossible feat. And make sure you're subscribed because this breakdown is about to get technical. Let's talk about what makes this matchup so fascinating from a pure boxing perspective. Crawford's southpaw stance presents problems that Canelo hasn't consistently faced in recent years. Most of Canelo's recent opponents have been orthodox fighters, and while he certainly faced quality southpaws like Erislandy Lara, Crawford represents a completely different level of southpaw skill and athletic ability. Crawford's jab from the southpaw stance is a thing of beauty, long, straight, and perfectly timed. It's the foundation of everything he does offensively and defensively.
If he can establish that jab early and control distance, he has a real chance to frustrate Canelo and win rounds consistently. But here's where Canelo's experience at this weight class becomes crucial. The Mexican superstar has been operating at 168 pounds for years, his body has adapted to carrying the extra muscle, and his power has translated beautifully up through the weight classes. Remember his destruction of Caleb Plant?
The way he systematically broke down Billy Joe Saunders? That's the version of Canelo that Crawford has to deal with. Canelo's left hook to the body is legendary. It's broken down world-class fighters and changed the momentum of countless fights. His overhand right has put numerous fighters on the canvas, and his ability to cut off the ring and apply relentless pressure has been his calling card for years. Crawford's switch-hitting ability adds another layer of complexity to this fight. He can seamlessly transition between orthodox and southpaw stances, creating angles that confuse opponents and open up different attacking opportunities.
But here's the thing, Canelo has seen it all.
He's faced slick boxers, pressure fighters, counterpunchers, and power punchers.
His ring IQ is off the charts, and his ability to make adjustments mid-fight has been the difference in many of his biggest victories. The physical differences are stark and undeniable.
Canelo stands 5'7", with a 70-inch reach, while Crawford is 5'8" with a 74-inch reach.
That 4-inch reach advantage could be crucial for Crawford in keeping Canelo at distance, but Canelo's experience at this weight class means he knows how to close distance against longer fighters.
His head movement, while not what it used to be according to some critics, is still effective enough to slip punches and get inside where his power can do the most damage. Expert predictions have been all over the map. And that's exactly what you want to see in a truly great fight. Boxing legend Steve Collins believes Canelo has the tools to win, but warns that underestimating Crawford would be a massive mistake. Former world champion Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both fighters, leans toward Crawford, citing his freshness and the fact that he hasn't been in as many wars as Canelo. Top trainer David Coldwell sees Crawford's boxing IQ and ring generalship as key factors that could allow him to outbox the Mexican champion. The psychological warfare has been subtle but effective. Crawford's quiet confidence in interviews, his insistence that people completely underestimate him, suggests a fighter who truly believes he belongs at this level. When he says, "We have to fight here on Saturday, and all the answers will be resolved that night," there's no doubt or hesitation in his voice. Canelo, meanwhile, has been more focused and intense than usual,
perhaps recognizing that this fight represents a different kind of challenge than he's faced in recent years. Trust me when I tell you,
the technical breakdown we're about to dive into will blow your mind. So stay tuned because the best analysis is still coming. The strategic elements of this fight are absolutely fascinating. Crawford's team likely studied every minute of Canelo's recent performances, looking for signs of decline, patterns in his defense, any indication that the years of warfare are catching up with him. They've probably identified that Canelo tends to start slower in recent fights, relying more on his experience and ring IQ rather than overwhelming early aggression. If Crawford can establish his jab early, move laterally, and make Canelo chase him around the ring, he might be able to build an early lead on the scorecards, but Canelo's experience in big fights cannot be understated. This is his 21st fight in Las Vegas, and he's been in this exact position countless times, facing a skilled opponent who thinks they can outbox him.
His game plan is likely straightforward. Cut off the ring, lean on Crawford in the clinch, attack the body relentlessly, and look for that signature overhand right when Crawford tries to counter.
The bodywork will be crucial because it's cumulative. Those shots to the ribs and solar plexus might not drop Crawford immediately, but they'll slow him down over 12 rounds. The conditioning factor could be huge in this fight. Crawford, at 38 years old, is moving up to a weight class where he's never fought before. His cardio at 147 pounds has always been excellent, but carrying that extra muscle mass through 12 hard rounds against a relentless pressure fighter like Canelo is a completely different challenge. Canelo, while 4 years younger, has significantly more miles on his odometer. His wars with Gennady Golovkin, Daniel Jacobs, and others have taken a toll, but his experience at this weight class means his body is adapted to the demands. The referee assignment and judging will be crucial factors that many fans overlook. Nevada State Athletic Commission always assigns their most experienced officials to fights of this magnitude, but styles influence scorecards.
If this becomes a chess match with subtle boxing skills rather than explosive moments, how will the judges score those close rounds?
Crawford's slick defensive work and counter-punching might not be as visually impressive as Canelo's pressure and power shots,
which could influence scorecards in a close fight. Crawford's path to victory requires near perfection.
He needs to use every inch of that ring, stay on the outside, pepper Canelo with jabs and straight lefts, and make the Mexican champion chase shadows for 12 rounds. If he can frustrate Canelo early, make him reach and load up on power shots, those counter opportunities will present themselves. Crawford has shown throughout his career that when those moments come, he rarely misses. His ability to switch stances mid-combination gives him attacking angles that most fighters simply don't possess. For Canelo, the path seems more straightforward on paper, but equally challenging in execution.
He needs to make this a phone booth fight, smother Crawford's movement, and force exchanges in close quarters where his power advantage should eventually tell the story.
His left hook to the liver, thrown from both orthodox and southpaw positions, could be the key to slowing down Crawford's lateral movement.
Once those legs start to get heavy, Crawford's defensive mobility becomes compromised.
And that's when Canelo's power shots become most dangerous. The historical context makes this fight even more compelling. We're potentially watching the final elite-level performance for both men.
Crawford, at 38, might have only one or two more high-level fights left in him if he comes through this unscathed. Canelo has been talking more frequently about legacy preservation and eventually stepping away from the sport. This could be our last chance to see either fighter at their absolute best, which adds emotional weight to every exchange. The international appeal of this event cannot be overstated. Mexico will virtually shut down to watch their hero defend his crown against an American challenger attempting to make history. The Netflix factor brings this fight to a global audience that traditional pay-per-view couldn't reach, potentially exposing millions of casual fans to elite-level boxing for the first time in years. Weather conditions in Las Vegas are perfect tonight. Clear skies, temperatures in the mid-80s, ideal conditions for what should be an electric atmosphere under the lights of Allegiant Stadium. The crowd of 65,000 screaming fans will generate tremendous energy, with Mexican supporters making the pilgrimage north and American boxing fans recognizing this as a once-in-a-generation spectacle. The undercard has been solid but not spectacular, which means the crowd will be fresh and hungry for fireworks when Crawford and Canelo make their ring walks. Both fighters traditionally have elaborate entrances, Canelo with his mariachi music embracing his Mexican heritage, Crawford with his understated but powerful walkout reflecting his Omaha roots and blue-collar work ethic. Training camp reports suggest both fighters are in phenomenal shape, but that's where the similarities end. Canelo has been emphasizing conditioning and hand speed, perhaps recognizing he'll need to match Crawford's work rate to be successful. Crawford has been focusing on adapting his style to the higher weight class while maintaining the attributes that made him special. No easy task when you're fundamentally changing your body composition at age 38. The tale of the tape tells an interesting story that goes beyond the numbers. Crawford at 38 years old, 5'8", 74-inch reach, undefeated in 41 fights with 31 knockouts. Canelo at 34 years old, 5'7", 70-inch reach, 63-2-2 with 39 knockouts. Crawford has advantages in height, reach, and undefeated record. But Canelo has advantages in weight class experience, power at this level, and familiarity with the unique pressures of super fights. Both fighters weighed in at exactly 167.5 pounds yesterday, meeting all requirements and looking in phenomenal condition. The face-off was intense but respectful, with both men showing the focus and determination that has defined their careers. The rehydration patterns between yesterday's weigh-in and tonight's fight will be fascinating. How much weight does each fighter put back on, and how does that affect their performance? If Crawford wins tonight, he becomes an overnight household name and breaks the decade-plus gravitational pull of boxing's biggest superstar. The boxing world gets turned upside down, casual fans start paying attention again, and we potentially see a renaissance in the sport's popularity. If Canelo wins, he solidifies his position as the face of boxing, while potentially setting up his farewell tour against more manageable opposition. The most fascinating aspect might be what happens next, regardless of tonight's outcome. Both fighters are in the how to win friends and influence people stages of their careers, where legacy and influence matter as much as victories. The economic impact extends far beyond the fighters' purses. Las Vegas hotels are booked solid, restaurants are preparing for their biggest weekend of the year, and the ripple effect generates hundreds of millions in economic activity. Social media has been absolutely electric leading up to this fight. The hashtag Daksha Canelo Crawford has been trending globally for weeks, with engagement numbers we haven't seen in boxing since the golden era. Fight fans who haven't been excited about a matchup in years are planning viewing parties and engaging with content at unprecedented levels. This is more than just a fight. It's a cultural moment, a test of greatness, and potentially the last time we see two elite pound-for-pound fighters in their prime competing at the highest level. Neither man is at the absolute peak of his powers, but both have enough left in the tank to produce something special if everything aligns perfectly. So here's my prediction. And remember, this is boxing where anything can happen regardless of skill levels or physical advantages. I think Crawford starts fast using his reach advantage and boxing IQ to frustrate Canelo in the early rounds. His lateral movement and counterpunching will likely give him success through the first half of the fight. But as the rounds accumulate, Canelo's pressure, bodywork, and superior conditioning at this weight class will start to tell the story. I see Canelo finding his timing in rounds 7 through 9, possibly scoring a knockdown with that devastating overhand right when Crawford's legs get a little heavy.
My official prediction is Canelo by TKO in round 10. But this fight is so close that I wouldn't be shocked if Crawford outboxes him to a decision victory, or if we get a true war that goes the distance. The beauty of elite-level boxing is that all the analysis in the world can't account for heart, determination, and those split-second moments that define careers. Crawford has never been in a fight he couldn't solve, but he's never faced anyone quite like Canelo at this weight. Canelo has seen every style and overcome every challenge, but Crawford's unique skill set presents problems he hasn't dealt with in years. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your predictions in the comments below and tell me who you think walks out of Allegiant Stadium tonight as the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Are you backing Crawford's historic quest for greatness, or do you think Canelo's power and experience will prove too much?
Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because our post-fight analysis is going to be absolutely insane.
And you won't want to miss a single moment of breakdown from what promises to be an unforgettable night of boxing history.